Hello, Rebel. My name is Hargrim, and with me I have...
Hindus, the Puffin. Hello.
And today we'll be doing a precap of Division 10D of the Greenhorn Cup.
Yeah, we are. They did the Greenhorn Cup before.
Yeah.
Now we are in the regular division.
Now
But
we're getting to the real stuff now.
now, do you really want to do 10D and not rather like 10C or 10B? I heard they are a much better division.
Alright, let's just get started. The first one is a Chorf team, coached by Sado, and yeah, I mean, pretty bare bones. Mighty Blow on a single blocker, plus movement on a Bull Centaur, and the lack of a third Hobgoblin.
I think that's something you can live with for the first game of the season. He has the 3 rerolls, which is really useful.
Yeah.
He has 2 blockers with an MVP each, which makes them really easy to level.
Yeah, and of course he has 6 blockers.
If we look at his Greenhorn Cup in the history, we can see he played 4 games. And 1-1-2, which is too shabby for Dwarves since they tend to struggle early on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd say some decent development here. I like the team build. He built with all the blockers. Like, there are some mad people who go with 5 blockers and a reroll, which I'm not exactly a fan of, because you really want the MVPs on your positionals.
Yeah, you don't really want to waste, first of all, the MVPs, but second of all of the extra SPP that you could get on a Chorf on Hobgoblins.
Yeah, because nobody likes Hobgoblins.
They're expendable meat. But I like the team composition of this one. And it's interesting that the plus movement was picked on the Bull Centaur.
Yeah, it definitely tells you that Sardar's playing the long game. He's planning to stick out a few seasons, because the movement really only gets strong once the Bulls picks up more skills to make him actually useful.
Because right now there's not really much use for the plus in movement. He's already got the sprint, he's already got sure feet.
Yeah, you could, at the moment you'd fare much better with block or break tackle, either to make the blitzes better or to actually have him as a free to move piece, which can't be easily tied down by simply basing him.
Yeah. Because right now there is next to no chance of having that Bull Centaur get out of tackle zones, unless he were to blitz out.
I mean, it's still a 50%. Now, if that's something to rely on, it's different, but it's still a possibility you can go for if you have to.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. The second team is, surprisingly enough, a Goblin team. The Orthodox Party, coached by Shobinator Sons.
I'm sure they're really glad that they got Chaos Dwarfs in their division.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to me, there's a bit of development on the team already. There is... God, stand firm on one of the trolls. And there's a niggling injury on the chainsaw, on the loony. That could be dangerous.
I think he will be the prime guy to foul people.
Yeah.
So, again, the niggle doesn't matter that much when he gets sent off anyway.
Yeah, but I was looking more at it from a perspective of, what if someone chooses to block him? He is only strength 2, so getting a 2 dice block against him is not going to be hard. And then it's a +4 or a +3 on the armor roll, and then a +1 on the injury with stunting.
Then again, he's only gonna be there for most likely 1 drive, unless we can get a few drives into play, because you get sent off anyway because of the secret weapon.
Yeah. So there is that.
The biggest surprise on the team for me is going with a Pogoer. You don't see goblins often go with the Pogoer.
I mean, it's a very risky player to go with, because, I mean, yeah, I know it's a leap long legs player, but still, it's not often that you would use the Pogoer. At least to me. It just...
Yeah, he
Yeah.
feels a little bit weird on the team.
A bit misplaced. Because, I mean, he still has the stunty, so he can still dodge around like crazy. But I suppose the leap long legs has its uses.
I mean, the thing is with stunty, why rely on the 3+ leap when you can dodge with dodge anyway?
And stunty, so you don't really care about the tackle zones.
Yeah, exactly. But, you know, we will see how it goes.
Yeah. And then, of course, he has taken the sidestep on him, so...
It's probably the natural. I think the Pogo only has agility access, so really, what else are you going to pick?
Yeah. True.
He has a blotched goblin, which will come in really handy.
That could become a potential ball carrier.
Well, the one useful goblin.
There is one goblin that isn't completely useless. Yeah. I don't know. I don't have a lot of experience with the goblin team. I'm not sure. Is Doom Divers a thing you can get here?
No.
Okay, because that's pretty much all I know from the tabletop, is you can get a Doom Diver. Basically a goblin with wings that can be thrown a lot easier.
I think there is one in the Star Players who... But I'm not sure if we call it the Doom Diver. We will find out. Maybe there is one, maybe not.
We will see.
Now, if you look at the history of the team, the Greenhorn Cup didn't go great. They went 0-1-3, but then again, they are goblins, so do you really expect it to go great?
Yeah. And it looks like one of his opponents took your name, the Thunderous Puffins.
Yeah, he's a dirty imposter who tries to take over the name of the Puffin. That's... But we are going to ignore that.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's an interesting choice to go with goblins in a division like this. So, yeah. Next up, we have a Dark Elf team, coached by Beer Monkey. Love the name, by the way.
Yeah, you can always get behind beers and monkeys. That's a pretty good combination.
Exactly. And, of course, there's the 4 Blitzer starter with the single runner, and then 2 rerolls, and there's a Witch Elf there.
I presume he picked it up once he got the money from the Greenhorn Cup.
Yeah. However, there is 2 MSGs on Line Elves.
Yeah, you really don't care too much about that. Sure, you won't get a bench for 1 game, but the loner is as good as the normal lineman.
Except that they have loner, but if they die, they die. Big whoop.
Yeah, it's basically the LOS guy, the guy you throw into the meat grinder.
Yeah.
You can't complain. And he has some really nice blitzes already.
3 of them with dodge, 1 of them with tackle. That's pretty good stats.
You probably wouldn't expect to tackle this early, but if we look at the division, there's quite a few elves around, which makes tackle more useful.
So that player will at least become key for this team when facing other elves. So we should see a lot of use out of him for this division.
Let's take a look at his history. How did his Greenhorn Cup go?
He did okay. He
One
got
game.
2-0-2.
Yeah, I mean, this last game probably didn't go exactly as planned. You don't often get scored on 5 times, but...
No. And it seems like it is that... It looks like a Chaos Dwarf logo.
We actually can click on it to find out. Yes, it's a Chaos Dwarf team.
That's surprising that a Chaos Dwarf team would score that many times against a Dark Elf team.
Well, you see, if you remove all the Dark Elves in the first half, you have a quite easy time scoring.
Well, there is that.
So,
but
I'm sure
Beer
Monkey can let us know what happened in that game, but I'm pretty sure he got pitch clear and then things happened.
Things definitely happened, apparently. And the good thing to see is that he's gone for the pass on the runner, so he has at least a bit of security when throwing the ball around. which is the one thing that the Dark Elf team is missing in the beginning.
Yeah, it helps. They're getting the extra reroll, especially when you decide to get the witch before the third team reroll.
Yeah. I have to agree on that one. Next up, we have yet another Dark Elf team. That is missing a skill up on a Blitzer. So this team is looking pretty good.
And yeah, they have the one tool the other Dark Elf team is missing, the setup. Getting a setup on elves is great.
Yeah. And of course there's the leader, which gives them a much needed reroll. And it seems like he went for the Apo and a single reroll to begin with.
And he has a really good blitzer there with a double to get guard.
Yeah.
I really like... I mean, no offense to the other Dark Elf team, but this Dark Elf team looks like to be in the better starting position.
He has the plus AG lineman, which it's better than nothing, I suppose. So, I mean, this team could shape up really well, and he is missing a skill up on a Blitzer.
And especially, he still has a 150k in the bank, so if he wanted, he could, for example, get an extra witch, or...
Well, he doesn't actually have a witch.
Yeah, well, he didn't start with one, so now would be the possible time to pick one. But smartly, FanFox waited with the level and the cash to see who he gets in the first round.
Yeah.
Because you might not really want to get a witch elf against, say, the Dwarfs in the first game.
That might be a bit of a money sink, seeing as they have block. They don't have block, and their tackle will basically be useless, or their dodge will basically be useless.
Yeah, smart thinking here from FanFox.
Yeah.
Team motto, well, the theme, I can't exactly. Do you know anything about the theme?
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
Like a general Dark Elf team built around torturing people, executing them,
Very
pain and
edgy.
misery, suffering.
Very edgy.
Maybe FanFox can let us know more about the theme, because the postman seems like
That's a bit
something
of a
you
weird
wouldn't
name.
really expect.
Unless the post is the ball, then it makes sense.
Maybe he has a really edgy postman who
Maybe.
drives around in his neighborhood.
The name choices are at least interesting. So, FanFox, if you care to elaborate on your choice of names, feel free to tell me, because I have no clue. Next up, we have a Nurgle team. Now,
And
I
well,
looked at this team earlier today, and I was very surprised, because there's missing something. And that something is the other half of the team.
well, it's only the Rodders missing. I guess that's the best part of the team that could be missing. But it looks like Shaman didn't exactly have a great Greenhorn Cup.
I mean, if we look at it, he's... Well, he won a game against Skaven. He lost against Kislev. He lost against another team. And then he won another one.
I believe.
Ball pinchers?
The ball pincher should be a Wolf team, yes.
Yeah. But I mean,
But
the team
the
is missing
record-
players.
Yeah, the record actually isn't too shabby with 202, and he has some development in the right places. Like every Nurgle warrior is just the MVP away from level 2. One is already level 2. He
Yeah.
has the killer there with Mary Poggins. The Beast of Nurgle has guard. He has a dirty player. He basically has the tools he needs. And does it really matter that they are loner rotters instead of normal rotters?
Not really, because the rotters are basically just meat to
Yeah, you
throw
can
into
just-
tackle zones.
You just let Mary Poggins do her thing and you'll get those rotters back sooner or later anyway.
Yeah. Pretty much. And the block on one of the Nurgle warriors is gonna be good for him, so he has to spend less rerolls there. And he does only have 2 rerolls, which could turn out to be an issue if he rolls too many both downs.
Yeah, it seems like he didn't exactly do great on rolling winnings, because, I mean,
only
70k
has...
out of the Greenhorn Cup, like out of 4 games. It doesn't look like he bought anything, maybe even an extra dollar, but other than that...
Doesn't really look like much.
Yeah, he maybe we have a team stadium, but that would be a little bit surprising. No, we don't. So, yeah.
So, the next question that rises is, where did all of the rest of his rotters go? It's not like he had a lot of rerolls. He must have only started with 2, and he's missing quite a lot of players.
Well, you see, Shawman doesn't... When he drives to a stadium, he has a big bus. And, you know, to get good luck for the next game, he always leaves a rotter behind at the old stadium. So, see, that's why we're missing 4 rotters.
Ah, okay. That explains then. You have to represent at every stadium that you play at.
Yeah, you always leave something of your team behind, just to remind the coach of your game.
Yeah. Agreed. Next up, we have a...
I mean, he might be a problem when he gets 2 or 3 games into the future when he has to leave Nurgle Warriors behind, but...
Then he will have issues. So we hope that you continue leaving rotters behind at every stadium that you play at. It's good sportsmanship to do that.
Yeah, maybe at some point they will even give you some back.
Perhaps, perhaps.
They will appreciate your good manners.
Yeah. Alright. Next up, we have a Chorf team, coached by Tom Bombadil.
Yeah, so many fresh Chorfs this season.
So many Chorfs.
And the Bull Centaur got a double.
With dodge. So, I mean, that's a pretty good first skill roll.
I'd probably, in theory, prefer it on the second roll, but you certainly won't say no to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's better to take it as the first roll rather than have to hope that the second roll is a double. So at least...
Exactly.
At least he has it right off the bat. And of course, there's a single guard Chorf, and pretty much every one of the Chorfs are 1 MVP away from skilling up.
Yeah, he got some nice spread of SPP on the blockers. Really can't complain about that. What's a little bit surprising to me is kick first on the Hobgoblin.
Yeah, I mean, it allows his team to bash more for a bit longer, because he can start kicking deep rather than having to kick midfield.
But wouldn't a dirty player, for example, be more useful?
I can see both things having its uses. The dirty player for more removal than what he's capable of now, but the kick is, at least for this division with so many elves in it, is gonna be pretty good.
I mean, you say that, but won't the elves just pick up the ball, hand it or pass it into the front, and then just be where they would be anyway?
God damn it, elves! Yeah, I mean, I suppose that's true, but I can see it having its uses.
Yeah, certainly. Kick is in general more useful against the slower teams who really can get punished by a deep or a very steep kick.
Yeah, agreed. And then, of course, he has the Apo and 3 team rerolls. So, on the off chance that one of his Chorf blockers goes down, he will have the security of being able to bring him back.
Yeah, an apothecary is always good to have.
Now
You need that guy that makes your move and bust into a kill on your blocker. Because
of course.
That's how it works.
That's just how the game works for some reason. I don't know why Nuffle is so evil to all of us, but he just is.
Hey, you stubbed your toe. Well, off with the foot it goes. Oh, damn, now it's infected. Shit. Oh,
well, guess you're gonna
he's
die.
Dead. Shame.
Oh well. Well, it seems like there's a team who accepted their ticket halfway through talking about the Chaos Chorf, or Chaos Dwarf team, which is a Khemri team. Granny's chosen.
They tried to sneak by. They wouldn't want us to notice them, but we did anyway.
Oh, you sneaky bugger. Now, there is quite a few SPPs on those Tomb Guardians. He has a Mighty Blow one and a Guard one already. And then he got the dodge on a Throw Ra.
And he got a level on a Blitzra. I think the team is in great shape.
This could shape up to be a really good team. If he's as lucky with his skill up rolls as he has been now.
And judging from his fan factor, he actually had a really good Greenhorn. Well, he went 1-2-1, but that's still not bad for Camry. Especially if you consider how hard it is for them it is to pick up the ball, especially in the first games.
Yeah. The AG2 really brings down the ball carrying capability of the team. So. Not really much else to say about the team. He's got the 2 rerolls.
I mean, looks like he is German speaking, because there are quite a few German words in here, like the little garden is Kleingarten.
Oh yeah.
Or Sonnenblumen, sunflowers. It's an interesting mix of multiple languages.
Yeah, pretty much. And then he's got weird names for his skeletons.
Well, that's what the Granny's Chosen does. You can depend on the Granny's Chosen. The Granny's Chosen buys presents for the doctor for some reason. For some reason it wakes up at 4 a.m. I think you need to give us a little more explanation here on the theme, Reichstein.
I would have to agree on this one, because there's no clear naming scheme. So,
like, maybe his grandma always preferred different nephew, so that's now how he takes it out on the nephew, the other nephew.
Yeah, that would make sense. That would make sense.
Would it really? But that's a different question.
That's a different question for a different time. Now, next up, yet another elf team. We have a high elf team, Sunbaked Seaguard, coached by Gunnerside. Interesting. He's already got the dodge on both his blitzers. And he's got dodge on a catcher.
And he got some agility, which is really good to have.
Really good.
Accurate for the passing game.
And he's already got an Apo.
Which is never bad on an elf team, because we all know how quickly they die.
Despite the fact that they have AV8, they still like to go down a lot.
And especially those catchers are only ammo value 7.
Yeah.
So you don't really want to lose a developed catcher.
That is true. And then of course there's the MSG on alignment, but meh, who cares?
Also some kick for utility, which I like a lot more here on the elf, because they can actually use it like with a blitz, or by positioning kicking deep against slow teams.
Yeah.
I like it.
Kick is usually good on elf teams. It allows them to do a lot more. And have more time to score a lot.
Now, are those generic elf names, or did he pick his own elf names?
They look like generic elf names.
If they are generic elf names, I'm a little bit disappointed here, Gunnerside. Like, you know, you're planning to play a team for at least 13 games. Why not name them after theme, or at least Greg and Steve and Johnny? It makes the game a lot more enjoyable when you got a little more personality in your players.
It gives you a connection to your players rather than just, here's a generic lineman. Give them a name. It also allows you to make fun of certain people, if that is what you so choose.
Like, even you could name a lineman, for example, that weird Hindi guy, or the Puffin so stupid, and you'll always get a little smile when you see them.
Yeah, and it will also make some people angry, which is, of course, also funny. Sometimes.
Yeah, some people are used to it at this point. It happens more often than you'd think.
What have I gotten myself into with this league? Ugh. Next up,
It's too late to back up now.
Yeah.
Now we've got you.
I've been lured in and chained up. Next up, we have a Kislev team with
Kislev team with only one blitzer. That's not something you see often.
I mean, he does have 4 team rerolls and an Apo, so I mean, in a sense it makes up for it, but still, only 1 blitzer.
Maybe one died. That would be my conclusion, because you can go get 4 rerolls, 2 blitzers, and 2 catchers when you create the team.
He has no deaths sustained on his team?
Yeah, it could just have been a stat bust.
Yeah. Could just be. Whoops.
He had a decent greenhorn. Going 2-0-1 out of the greenhorn isn't too bad. He got 2 developed linemen. Now I'm a little bit surprised that we don't have a wrestle lineman yet, because you see those quite often on Kislev.
It would certainly be a lot more handy to have that wrestle lineman rather than the block one.
But it could have just been that the block lineman was his first level up, and just having a block player helps you out immensely when you can blitz with a little more reliability.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's the diving tackle on the blitzer. So, yeah.
I mean, they start out with that. I think we'll just pick up block with the blitzer. Maybe mighty blow, but I think block.
I would say block is probably the better choice to go here as well, because it's very lacking on this team, and especially on the blitzers that are going to be doing, well, the blitzers more often than not. He's going to need that block.
Exactly.
To ensure that his own players don't go down all the time. So, it'll be interesting to see how this Kislev team fares out. Bit of an odd build if you ask me. But yeah.
Well, it is what it is. Let's see what we think about Lizardman's build.
Yes. Rasping Reptiles. Coached by Throek with the team motto of a lot of R's. I'm going to assume it's growling.
Why generic names again?
It seems like these greenhorn people like their generic names.
Like, who wants a Soros called Xla of the Lake? Like, just why?
It's a bit of a weird name in the first place, but let's stop harassing people for their names and harass them for their skill choices.
But that's why I'm
instead.
here. I thought that's what you brought me on for, to harass your division.
Well, he's already got block on a skink, so I mean that's a pretty good first skill up.
Yeah, but he really didn't get great Soros or Croxico development out of the Greenhorn, which is really what you're looking for.
He's got very little SPPs on those Saurus.
Also, if I can make a recommendation here, Throwback, team looks a lot nicer when you sort the Soros above the skinks.
I have to agree with that one. It just looks messy right now. But that is just a visual aspect.
Now watch him put the skinks between the Soros just to piss you off next week.
I'll keep an eye on you, Throek. There's a skill choice that kind of confuses me, which is the diving tackle on one of his skinks.
I mean, you basically have two choices with skinks on normal rolls. You either go sidestep or you go diving tackle. Because they only have agility access.
Yeah.
There isn't too much you actually want with just normals. That's why a block skink is so great to have. And
I suppose it makes sense to have the diving tackle.
The diving tackle is probably more useful, especially if you see a lot of elves in your division. Since it makes the dodging a bit harder.
Which, of course, Throek has gotten lucky with. There's a lot of elves in this division. I think we're up to like 4 elf teams? Something along those lines?
And I think there might be another one coming. There should be a Wood-Elf team around the corner.
There is a Wood-Elf team that has yet to accept their ticket.
Well, the MNG on the Saurus will certainly hurt in the first game. It's really tough to not have your positionals as lizards, because skinks are actually fairly useless. I mean, a good skink can never be underestimated, but just a regular fresh skink is actually pretty damn shitty.
Yeah. And again, skinks can't win you the game.
I mean, they certainly can win you the game. Well, they win you the one game, but source development is what wins you more games over a longer time frame.
Yeah, because those strength 4, having 6 strength 4 players on the team is really good.
Certainly nobody gonna say no to 6 strength 4 players.
Yeah. And if you do say no to it, I think you need to reevaluate how you coach Blood Bowl. So yeah. Next up, we have a dwarf team. Coached by H2SO4. Interesting name. Saki Ballers. Now, I play dwarves a lot. And to me, this team comp is odd. He's gone with a 1 runner and then gone for an extra Longbeard instead. And he's missing a Troll Slayer. Question is if that Troll Slayer died. Yes, it did, by the seams.
I mean, I like, actually, when I play dwarves, I like to start out with only 1 runner and 1 Troll Slayer. Reason for that is, they are the squishy parts of the teams. And it's much easier. You don't necessarily need more than 1 Troll Slayer. Same with the runner. And Longbeards are actually pretty damn good.
They have an amazing value for their starting skills. I mean, starting off with Block, Thick Skull, Tackle, and the AV9 really makes them some of the best standard starting players that you can get in the game.
Exactly. And I then like to get like the second runner and second Troll Slayer when you get them to like level 2, level 3. Once you got one of them each developed. And then you can get the second one of them. Because things are a lot easier. Then you have a little bit bench, you can play around them. That's like how I personally like to build my dwarves.
Yeah. I suppose there are different ways of building the dwarves. I just think that having those 2 Troll Slayers and having the 2 runners on the starting team can really make a huge difference, because if that 1 runner goes down, you have no dedicated ball carrier other than the blitzers, and even they aren't that good at it.
Well, they still make decent backup ball carriers with agility 3 and block. They aren't too shabby.
I suppose.
But surely you'd rather prefer to do different things with your blitzers.
You'd rather run around and use your blitzers as supporters, or actually blitzing with them.
Who blitzes with blitzers?
But the thing is, he is missing a Troll Slayer for the next game, which could really be a big issue if he comes up against a team with a big guy.
Well, I think he should be fine if it's only like elves.
Yeah. If he does get the elf matchup, he'll be very happy.
I mean, he still won't be happy that he's missing the player, but he won't mind the Loner Longbeard.
Yeah. Because, as we said, Loner Longbeards are not bad at all. So...
Yeah, and he has agility 4 runner already, which is really great. Getting some stat-ups on your dwarves makes them really shine a dwarf team. Like a dwarf team with normals is very much okay, especially on Longbeards. Normals is basically all you want instead of like strength.
You don't really need all of those extra little stat increases. If you get the AG on a runner, that is I would say instant pick, because it just makes the runners so much better at their job.
Yeah, there's some people who go like, I could pick agility on a runner, but have you heard about more tackle?
That basically sounds like every dwarf coach ever.
Like, sure, I have 9 Longbeards with block and tackle, but I could get more tackle.
What should I
Who
take?
needs that agility? That's like elfy stuff. Bah.
So H2SO4, if you do pick tackle on a runner, I will be very happy because you have just confirmed that all dwarf players think alike.
And can I harass another one of your players?
Yeah.
Because those names look pretty damn generic to me.
Oh, they are generic.
Disappointing.
They're very generic. Yeah.
Such a shame.
Such a shame. So many Greenhorners have generic names. And finally, we have the Wood Elf team. The Warspite Wildlings, coached by Jon Snow 144. Now, this is a build that I myself would go for. I would probably take the thrower instead of the catcher. And when I signed up for the REBBL League, I went for 1 team reroll, 1 Apo, and then of course both dancers and the thrower. But
there are quite a few ways to build Wood Elves to start out with.
Yeah. This seems like one of the more common ones. And
exactly.
There's only one fan factor there, which is kind of weird, but looking at his history, he only has 1 win.
Yes, he probably joined Greenhorn late, but well, no, he got 3 games, and he actually he lost against one. He played 2 of his division members already.
Yeah.
Hell, there's already some history there, some grudge matches, some rematches.
That's gonna be interesting to watch. And we can both agree that it is nice to see someone actually naming their players.
Yeah, that's like someone put effort into his team.
It's just a shame that it's a Wood Elf team, because I expect a lot of these players to die.
Yeah, but you can get new ones and give them names again.
Not a lot of SPP on the team, though. He does have the block on one of his linemen. Again, maybe wrestle would have been a better idea. Maybe kick instead. Something along those lines rather than the block, because a Wood Elf team really does not want to be bashed against.
Yeah.
Maybe even dodge as the first skill.
Yeah, you see dodge as the first skill fairly often, like to dodge away from the LOS, or just to have that extra inbuilt reroll.
Yeah. Which is, because as we all know, the hardest dice roll to make in Blood Bowl is a 2+ with a reroll.
Those damn snake eyes.
Damn you, Nuffle. It happens too often. But it's gonna be interesting to follow this team. Well, I mean any team really, but the Wood Elves I kind of have a soft spot for the Wood Elves.
Me too. I like their soft spots.
Yeah.
They die so much easier if you hit them.
They're very squishy. But I mean, this division has a lot of very jumping around, fast-moving teams. There's 2 Dark Elf teams, a High Elf team, and a Wood Elf team, along with a Kislev and a Goblin team. There's not a lot of Bash here, but I think that the Bash teams that are in the division are gonna do really well. Oh, it looks like while we were recording, Jon Snow actually accepted the ticket.
Yeah, he did. Those sneaky guys.
They're very sneaky.
They just want us to miss them.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to follow this one. To see how well the Bashy teams fare against all of these high movement teams. Especially because the Bash teams that we do have are very slow.
Yeah, I actually think that the Chaos Dwarfs and Nurgle will actually struggle a bit against all the elves, because they actually really don't quite have the tools to deal with all those dodgy elves yet.
No. The only team that could potentially do really well against them is the Dwarf team, but that's just because they have tackle everywhere.
And also the Lizards, I think, once they get some development on the Saurus, could really go hunt down those elves, because having a strength 4 player with movement 6 that can easily catch up with the Dark Elves or High Elves is a great tool to have.
Yeah.
Especially once all those elves don't have any strip ball or stuff like that yet.
Yeah. But I mean, if I know the Wood Elf coach right, those war dancers will get strip ball real quickly.
We'll see how it goes.
We will.
We'll see how it goes.
In case he does roll that death into death with the Apo.
I've got 2 questions for you again, and I know it's a lot harder in a fresh div. But who do you think will win the division, and who do you want to win the division?
Honestly, I think the Wood Elves are going to do really, really well. Because all of the teams that are in the division don't have a lot of skills to counter the leaping and dodging around of the Wood Elves. Not a lot have wrestle. None of them, well, other than the dwarves and the chorfs, have tackle. So I think the Wood Elves are going to be real well off in this division, especially because there are so many elf teams in it. And I have to say that I kind of want the dwarves to win, because I feel like they have a hard time. They're going to have a hard time against all of these elves. And dwarves are just beer-loving cool guys.
My pick here are actually the Dark Elves. I think both Dark Elves have the tools to deal with the other elves.
Yeah.
And have the tools to run around the bash teams. So I think it will be a race between the 2 Dark Elves.
I think that might be pretty accurate. And I mean, one of the Dark Elf teams does have a higher TV than the other.
I mean, that doesn't have to mean too much. TV can change quickly. That player here, niggle player there.
Miss next game over there as well.
The TV can change quickly, so it all depends on how the first games go.
Yeah, we'll have to see about that.
So, who do you want to win the division?
I'm gonna have to say I want the dwarves to win.
Okay, yeah. I can see it. I can see it.
Because, I mean, they're facing a lot of fast teams, a lot of jumpy teams, and a lot of dodgy teams. And the dwarves have a very hard time going against something like elves. Because the elves can just run away so easily, and they have a hard time catching up. And when they do get to catch up, they have to go for it, so blitzes to get 1 block off in a turn. Which the dwarves really do not like.
Yeah,
So.
the dwarves have to fuel the hate of every other race into their hits.
Exactly. Exactly. So,
well, I think we covered everything, didn't we?
that is basically it. So,
I mean,
looking forward to covering.
Just want to point out again that 10B clearly is much better than 10D.
I think you mean 10F.
10F, they come even after 10D.
It's going to be interesting to cover what you guys can manage to perform over the next 13 weeks. So,
and you know what, guys? You could be here on the recap. Because I think we would welcome any guests that want to share their viewpoint, share some banter against other coaches. That would all be greatly appreciated.
If you're interested in just joining me, recapping, or just chatting to the other coaches, just throw me a PM, and I'll look into it.
I mean, it's always fun to insult the recapper live on stream.
It's always fun to insult the recapper. Always. So yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, best of luck, guys, for your first week.
Good luck to you all. And have a good one, guys.
Well, do we really want the dwarves to have luck?
Yeah, yeah, okay, good point.
So good luck to everyone except the dwarves.
Yeah, good luck to everyone except the dwarves.